Hello and welcome to our weekly Bible study. This week we're looking at Psalm 90, verse 12. Psalm 90, verse 12. Let me encourage you to go ahead and pause the video and read through that whole psalm, verses 1 through 17. You can pause the video now and read through that. And then I'm going to read verse number 12, which is our focus for this week. Psalm 90, verse 12 says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom." We are given something to do and then given a reason or result for following through on that. So, first of all, we see this push from the psalm, this command that we should follow, and that is that we should number our days. Well, what does that mean? Okay, well, it means to take account of how much time we have. How many days do we have? How much time has God given us? It means to take account of how much of our lives has already passed and is behind us, and to take time to count how many days that we may have in the future, and to recognize that we don't know, right? So it says to number our days, but really this is something we could never know. We never know how much time God has given us, but we should reckon how much time has passed and how fleeting life really is. Well, why should we do this? Well, as we look through this psalm and we see the things that we've gone through, we see how short life is, right? We understand that we should number our days because we have wasted many of our days, right? They're gone, they're past, they're spent already, and we ought to take account as we look toward the future so that we would value our days more. We should number our days because we have few days left. And then as we look at this psalm, we should number our days because we belong to God. Those are not my days to spend frivolously. They belong to the Lord as I belong to the Lord, and I should use them for Him. And so the psalmist says this as a prayer to the Lord, "Lord, you teach us to number our days." And so we should number our days, but we should be taught by God to number our days. Because if we allow the world to teach us about how we should spend our time and how we should number or count our days, we're going to end up lost and very, very confused and very dissatisfied, very empty. The world's philosophy is to number our days and to say, eat, drink, and be merry, right? But the psalmist here would have us learn from the Lord. So what should we learn from God as we count up our days? Well, first of all, we should learn the importance of our days. We have a limited amount, and they're very valuable, very precious. We should spend them accordingly. I wonder if you've ever taken time to account for how many days you really have. According to Psalm 90 and verse 10, there is a possibility that we may live till 70, or possibly, if we're unusual, live to the age of 80. And it's amazing that the psalm was written so long ago, but still basically holds true today, that 80 is a good old age, and we may live that long. If you did live that long, right, how many days do you have left? How many days have already been spent? I'll turn 40 in January, so I was doing a little bit of math, and according to my math, I've already used up 14,380 of my days. And as I look back, there's some days, some time that I've spent very wisely as I've served and followed the Lord and served others and done the things God's called me to do. And there are other days, far too many days, that have been wasted as I look at that number of 14,380. If I live to be 80 years old, the number of days I have left is 14,820. That's a shockingly small number, if I even live that long, right? And so we number our days to understand their value and their importance. And so we don't waste them away. We don't spend them frivolously. We don't pursue the things of this world with our days. God has only given us a certain number of days, and we don't know that number. And so we should value the time that we have even more than we already do. Now, not only should we learn from God to learn the importance of our days, but then as we look at the limited time we have and understand that those days are a gift from God, we will learn what should be the priority of our days. Because there could be, again, a misapplication with this act of numbering. If we learn from the world and not the Lord, we won't value our time correctly. there should be a priority as we look at how little time we really have. There should be a priority placed upon fellowship with the Lord and enjoying and serving Him. This isn't an exercise that should lead us to hopelessness or despair as we look at how little time we might have left, but to enjoy those days as we follow and serve the Lord. In verses 14 through 16, the psalmist says, who's Moses, by the way, he says this, "O satisfy us early with thy mercy, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us glad according to the days wherein thou hast afflicted us, and the years wherein we have seen evil. Let thy work appear unto thy servants, and thy glory unto their children." Life has its ups and downs, but as we learn to number our days and spend them in service to the Lord, loving the people He's given us to love, doing the things He's called us to do, there is great joy in that numbering. There is only hopelessness, despair, emptiness if we'll spend our days according to the ways of the world. And so that leads us to our last point, the end of verse number 12. And that is that we must apply our learning. We tally up our days. We count the time that we might have left. And Moses says we should then apply our hearts unto wisdom. We ask God to teach us and to disciple us in this act of valuing our time so that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Again, what does this not mean, right? What this doesn't mean is that we don't just fill our lives with busyness. This isn't a calling to run the rat race as the world runs. It's not a call to constantly just be pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion. It's a call to serve and follow the Lord. His yoke is easy, His burden is light. It's a wonderful calling to apply this wisdom to our lives. And so it's not just a call to busyness, although we should be busy about the Lord's work, but it's not a call to exhaustion or running the rat race. It does not mean that life isn't fun, right? We don't tally up our days so that we spend all of our time serious and sober and never having any fun, right? Again, verse 14 says as we serve the Lord, we ought to be glad all our days. As a part of this numbering and prioritizing and following God. And there's great happiness and fun in knowing the Lord and following Him. We're not going to miss out on anything if we'll give our lives to Him. And it also doesn't mean that we count up our days and look at the short time we have and then just adopt pure pleasure seeking either. That's what the world does. We're called to be good. We're called to follow the Lord. We're called to love others and to serve God and serve the people around us. And if we would number our days and look at how little time we have left and what small chance we have to make an impact on the world around us, on our children, on the people that God has placed in our lives, we should value this time. And so it doesn't mean, again, just spending our days how we want to spend them. But what it does mean is it's something that will change us. It's going to change our character. It's going to give us humility as we understand that one day we will be dead and gone. And so I shouldn't be high and mighty and proud. I don't have it all figured out, right? It should bring some humility as we deal with others, as we serve the Lord. It's going to change our priorities. I have a very limited amount of time to work for the Lord here on this earth, a very limited amount of time to tell others about Jesus and to show others who He is, to walk with Him. I want to value that time. I don't want to waste it, right? It's going to change my priorities. It's going to change my reliance, right? As I number my days, I look, well, there's nothing I can do about this. I need God's help, right? I need to rely on Him and lean on Him and rest in Him. I need to rely upon God and not myself. I need to rely upon God and not the winds of chance, right? If such a thing existed. Numbering my days helps me to stay reliant upon the Lord. And again, numbering our days will change us so that we will not waste any of the time that God has given us, but instead we will enjoy the ups and downs of life as we give our all to Him. This numbering of days doesn't mean everything is always going to be easy or always going to be light and fun. Read the rest of the psalm. That's not the case. But it does mean that we'll have real lasting joy if we'll give our days over to the Lord as we number them. Well, check out the description and take some time to meditate on this verse and the rest of Psalm 90. Hope it's a blessing to you as we think about the wonderful but short time that we have here to serve the Lord upon this earth. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.